here that are illegally here and they shouldn't be here, right? So I think it's okay for them to not be here. And just generally, maybe gun rights. I don't know where you're at on that. You probably think racial humor, any kind of joking like that is too much. Shouldn't do it. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that I think you and I are going to be on opposite sides on, right? I think you're you're pro-choice, right? You're a pro-choice advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like opposite, 180. Now you said something that was interesting earlier, though. We can just shift to this because I think it's interesting just for a second. Is you said that you think that your pantheistic conception of God is actually overlapping with a Christian conception. You think that the referent is the same. Is that true?
Yeah, there's only one God.
Yeah, but we're not even, it's like I'm saying, look, God is a, 9 foot tall African American that plays basketball and, schools Jordan, and he's the best of the best, right? And then you come along, you're like, oh yeah, God, yeah, God, he's this 2 foot trans woman with red hair that doesn't even play sports and basically is an invalid. And you're like, yeah, we're both referring to the same thing. We're both using the term God. I think the referent is quite a bit different. And so I don't think that the descriptions of what you and I are referring to, I refer to God as an unembodied mind that created the universe. You're referring to God as like, I don't know, all things that exist or in all things, something like that, right? So I think that's like, we're not referring to the same thing. How do you cash that out, JJ? That seems like we're talking about two different things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh God, I'm sick and tired of this God chat.
Don't worry, this won't take long. Just give him one shot on giving a description because he just said that and I wanted to cover it. You're very patient. You're very patient, Lush. I appreciate that. But yeah, so JJ,
it'll come down to your perception.
Yeah, but don't you think that the words that we speak, the intention, whatever it is that we're referring to, there needs to be some overlap broadly enough to where we can say, yeah, we're talking about the same thing. Just putting a label on something. I can look at my shoe and say,
I'm gonna get my door. I'm listening though.
Okay. I can look at my shoe and say that's God, right? And then somebody else can be like, well, my conception is a triune, tripersonal substance, the one being that consists of 3 persons that created the universe, right? I don't think.
So what do you think God is, Andrew? What is God to you?
A tripersonal being,
What's
just the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, so you think it's a human being?
Well, I think Jesus was a human, but
yeah, but I'm on about God, the Creator.
Yeah, well, Jesus is the Creator also. So, the thing is, yeah. So Jesus is partially, to put it in simple terms, he is. Yeah. He's the God man.
But who gave birth to Jesus?
Well, Mary, a human, and the Holy Spirit, God.
Oh, so they're God.
Mary isn't, but the Holy Spirit is.
By the way, Andrew, Keegan is here.
Oh, Keegan, welcome.
Finkel Keegenstein.
Finkel Keegenstein. Yes, Keegan, the man we've been waiting for. You'll be happy to know, Lush, even though I appreciate the little exchange we just had. We'll go back to the pronoun issue because one of the champions of the pronoun issue is here, live in the flesh. Keegan, brother Keegan.
Thank you. I don't exactly know what we're talking about, but I'm listening.
Well, shoot. It's all good, brother. You are a jack of all trades, so it's all good. But no, the trans issue, right? So the affirming of people's preferred pronouns. So I historically have not done that, right? I have not affirmed the pronouns, but there's a guy on here named Albedo, or as I sometimes call him, Albledo, or Albino. He led me down the primrose path and basically showed me the error of my philosophical ways, and I now can, I think, in good conscience, for the most part, affirm people's preferred pronouns. So I guess what I would you, Keegan, is what do you why don't you affirm people's pronouns, or do you? And I think you don't. And since you don't, if you don't, let's say, why don't you? And maybe you can break that down for everybody. That'd be cool.
Yeah, just I'm not gonna affirm someone's characteristic of themselves based off of just a personal trait, right? A personal feeling. So I just am someone who won't affirm that, because the same way that I won't affirm when someone says that they're declaring themselves something, like an atheist. An atheist probably wouldn't say that Jesus is Messiah, even though Jesus claimed to be Messiah, and we should affirm him in that claim. The same way that they wouldn't affirm that is the same way I probably just am not going to affirm someone in this behavior that, again, is personal quality that them themselves have chosen. So that's the only real reason, because then it gets into this larger issue of what is identification, and and identifying that in a personal trait again. So you can have people who say at some point say, I claim to be black. I can switch my PTR. One of my PTRs is me as a black man, and I was going by Brother Keegan for a while. And so I could switch my PTR if everyone wants me to, and I would want everyone to affirm my belief that I'm a black man, but I would assume that every single one of us would understand that that would be wrong in the ethical sense.
Andrew,
yeah.
Did you get her to explain her points more? I'm not understanding what she's saying.
Did you say her?
Yes, get her to explain her points.
You're funny. So Keegan, I got what you just said there, and what's interesting is that was the position that I had for the longest time, and I think that it's actually a misapprehension. I do think that you are you're thinking that you are affirming something that's not true, and that's the thing I thought, right? But in reality, there's only a very small subset of trans people who are like that. And the people generally agree that they are delusional, or that they have a disorder. That is a disorder, right? There's a malady there. But the broad swath of the trans community, they don't think that. They don't think that they're the opposite sex. They think that they have a set of characteristics that would qualify them to be put in a feminine view, right? So like they can, and it can be a handful of traits. And the thing is I think even you yourself have used woman in that way at times, right? You might see somebody, I don't know if you ever heard the expression, dude looks like a girl, right? Something like that. Or a boy named Sue, or whatever, right?
Dude look like a woman. No, dude look like a lady.
Dude look like a lady.
Dude look like a lady. Yeah.
Do look like a lady. Thank you.
A boy named Sue. That's not what the song "Boy Named Sue" is about. By the way,
that's a separate point.
I'm on about Eric's song.
That was a more tongue-in-cheek deal. But let's just say that you walked up on somebody that looked like Fabio or Fabio from the back, right? And then maybe they had more work done, like something like a Caitlyn Jenner or something like that. If you didn't have any way, and by the way, we don't even determine sex by chromosomes anyway, at least not exclusively. There's other stuff there's a lot there. But if you say you aren't able to check that, right, you just see their appearance and the way they conduct themselves, right, and the way they act, the way they talk, the way they dress, the particular attire they have on, whatever, the accessories, etc., right? You might see a body of those a collection of those, and you might just be like, that's a woman, right? And that could have been way before this, this whole trans movement has kind of taken off, right? And so I think even you yourself would be picking people out like that. And in fact, you might find out later that they actually were male, right? I've mistaken people many times what sex they are based on the way they conduct themselves, the way they look, the way they act. It's definitely happened. So my point is that there's already some of this going on, and you aren't going to be affirming something that is not true. That's the key point. So what I would say in summary, Keegan, is that somebody who is a trans woman, it's a male who thinks that they're feminine, right? They have some collection of traits that are typically typified, or they're typical of a female historically. Okay.
Yes, Andrew. Yes, Andrew.
Right. But the big thing is they're not saying that they are a female. They're not doing that. If they do that, that's a disorder. That is something that people will broadly say, no, you got a problem. You're on the you're in the DSM. You need to get help. Your gender dysphoria, etc. Right. But if they just say, look, I like to wear pink. I talk with a lisp, or I talk real, whatever, high pitched, right? They love pink, not only the color, but the singer. They all of these different things that they're into, right?
Makeup, high heels.
Right, exactly. So you take all these things, right? So you take all these things, check, right? And they say, since all of those things, and we're not going to be real rigid here, right? It's just kind of a loose body of these things. You kind of know it when you see it, kind of thing, or there's a certain amount of these where people go like, okay, I'm a woman, right? And then, but notice what they're not saying. They're not saying I'm a female. If they were doing that, which is what I thought they were doing historically, and what a lot of people that are against using pronouns think that they're doing, be opposed to that, right? Because you'd be lying. You'd be saying something that's
But that's
false.
exactly what they're doing, bro.
That isn't what they're doing.
No, it is.
Andrew, did you use hermaphrodites and intersex people to make your claim that we don't identify people by their chromosomes?
Yeah,
We find a body in the forest and we test their DNA and we go, oh shit, this is a male. Hey, let's look at the pelvis.
Sorry,
Real quick, I do want to answer, guys. I know that everyone wants to answer Andrew. But you interrupted Andrew. And on top of that, we're discussing. Andrew and I are discussing. Excuse me.
Oh, Sugar Belly's not going to let you talk.
I understand.
Yeah, Sugar Belly's the best.
Excuse me, Finkel. Let's Andrew moderate.
It's Finkel Kingenstein.
Andrew, can you moderate?
Let's have Andrew finish, and then let me respond.
Yeah, Andrew, please moderate your room, because this is weird. Like, we have non-mods trying to moderate.
Andrew, I'm here.
No, he was supposed to be the one responding.
Require my services then, dude.
Well, don't kick anybody, Commerce, because but I mean, welcome, brother. Sugar Belly is definitely on the opposing side on this, so I'm definitely wanting to hear her position. But I do want to let Keegan respond. Finkel Keegan. Fine.
Okay, can I go after him?
Well, certainly. But yeah, and Sully can appear. But go ahead, Finkel. Take your time, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and I understand your point of view. There's two things to that, which is number one, just because you can fool me, does it, like one of the points you made is, well, what if you find out later on that you've called someone a woman, you call this person she, her, and they actually were transgender. They actually were a man, but they identified and they had characteristics of a woman. You were fooled. That means that it's correct. Well, no, because we have a lot of individuals who will claim to be a form of biracial and they'll claim to be black. We've had a Rachel, I forget her last name, but she was very famous, who claimed to be black. We found out she was white, right? Just because she was able to fool a lot of people does not actually mean she can. Thank you. Rachel Dole is out. Just because she was able to fool a lot of people doesn't mean that again, identification that she has claimed for herself is correct. Now, if you're saying that these individuals, now as you just said, these individuals don't believe they're women, they know, or they don't believe they're female, they know that, but they are just identifying with womanhood. Again, identifying with womanhood is okay. If you, do I think it's actually socially okay? No, I think that there's social, repercussions when we allow effeminate behavior in men, and that tends to be bad for cultures. But that's, I guess, a broader scope issue. But back to the person who says that I just identify with womanhood, I would say that individual, just because they say they identify with womanhood, they can identify with womanhood, does not, again, mean that I need to change my language to have that affirmation for them. Because, again, I don't expect any affirmation from my beliefs and any of my identification. I didn't say I was going to.
I know you didn't, and I'm just affirming to you, you shouldn't change.
Yeah, I think Andrew said I could go.
But go ahead.
Oh God, don't let the sugar belly woman talk.
So Andrew, I get like where you're coming from when you say that, if they were trying to claim that they were the opposite sex, then you'd be like, yeah, clearly there's something wrong here. I think the problem when people say that is that they don't realize that that's exactly what they're doing. So even when people claim that woman is like a social thing or man is a social thing, that's effectively what you're doing. Women are subsets of females, right? So the female category includes all female living organisms, like whether they're animals, whether they're something else, right? Within that broad, class of like living things, woman specifically boils down to female humans who are adults, right? So if you go just female humans, you've got like girls and women, but then if you add the fact that okay, they're at mature stage of development, then you're down specifically to adult human females. And the problem is that a lot of people who have like these pro-trans stances, so like, yes, there's a spectrum of like trans stances, right? So at the very extreme, you have the people who are trying to say that gender and sex are different, like all of this stuff. What they tend to say, oh, we're not talking about like females, we're talking about women, right? The point is this: they are conflating gender roles or gender presentation or gender expectations. They're conflating these things with gender itself. Like, gender is sex. There's really no difference. Like, historically, gender has referred to sex, and they've been used interchangeably, right? Even when you say, oh, why can't you just use like, she, her pronouns or whatever? It's because when we say she or we say he, we're talking about somebody of a particular sex. We're not saying this person is a she just because they're wearing a skirt, right? Yes, is a skirt a dressing or a presentation that's typically expected of females? Yes, it is. But a man could wear a skirt, right? It doesn't make sense to start calling a man she just because that man is wearing a skirt. And what they're effectively doing or saying is that they're saying that, okay, I'm a man, I was born a man, or I was born male, right? And despite the fact that all of my characteristics still match.
You're saying gender is performative. Just hurry up.
Sorry, can I?
I know, but wrap it up.
Don't tell me to hurry up. Like, if you want me to hurry up, go and make your own room. Like, I haven't been rude to you. I don't know who you are. Like, don't do that.
I'm not necessarily being rude. I'm just saying hurry up. Hurry the fuck up, sugar belly.
No, you shut the fuck up.
She never shut the fuck up. She'll keep going forever.
You use 17,000 words to say that they're claiming that gender is fucking
really bad.
performative.
Everybody shut up.
You just stop saying gender.
I'm going to start again.
Okay.
I'm going to start again.
Stop.
I mean, I agree with you. Just hurry up. Fuck.
I'm going to start again.
Congress, will you unblock me?
Yeah. So just give Sugar at least a minute to land. Go ahead, Sugar.
Congress, will you unblock me? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Andrew, before you do that, what's being pointed out to you, Sugar Belly, is that you are being rude.
Excuse me, is my
By
friend
talking,
here?
you're fucking rude. Jesus fucking Christ, shut the fuck up.
I don't want to hear it.
You're droning on, sugar belly.
I don't care.
Just let her go, JJ, and you can certainly. I mean, look at the title of the room, brother. You're certainly gonna have a chance to air him out. You know what I mean? But go ahead, Sugar.
Yeah, so as I was saying, right? So people talk about these things as if it's harmless or as if, oh, it's a social thing. Why can't you just do it if it's a social thing? The reason why we can't do it is because number one, it's not a social thing, it's a biological thing. And number two, pretending that it's a social thing is consequential. It's negatively consequential for women and girls, right? So, when people try to act as if it's just a social thing, why can't you just be polite? What they're not saying, the quiet part they're not saying out loud is that your so-called politeness to the trans person, it comes at the cost of you actually harming women and girls, right? There is a rudeness that you're doing, or something that's worse than rudeness, which is harming women and girls, but you think that you're doing something good because you're quote unquote being polite to the trans person by trampling women and girls underfoot and undermining our rights. Yeah, so I'm
right. And I'm sure you're just going to not explain how you're harming them at all.
Okay.
Right.
Well, just
how are you harming them?
Andrew,
All right,
let's do this.
shut up. Make a response.
Let Sully ask her just just an ISO, Sully and Sugar for a little bit.
Sully,
do you want to respond to you, Sugar?
You're going to make her talk.
Go ahead, Sully.
Yeah, so what's the question, or do you want an answer? Because what I heard was
I think less smart Ethan can ask your question.
If you will keep
it's harmful for women and girls to use preferred pronouns. You never said how at all. You did the etymological fallacy. You clearly are agreeing that there is something like a social role. You just don't want us to use these words to talk about it.
No, I don't agree that the social role of woman or girl. I actually don't. So if that's what you understood from what I said, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that woman and girl are biological categories, right? Now you have gender roles, which are basically roles that people try to make women and girls do because they feel that they should do them because they're female, right? But the fact of being a woman or a girl, it's not social. So when I say how, the harm, right, there's different levels of the harm. So for example, even the basic erasure of identity, right? When you're saying that men can be included in this category of woman or girl just because, they decided to identify as such, you're effectively denying the existence of women or girls. You're saying that anybody could be a woman or a girl. All they have to do is wish it into existence, right? That is harmful from an identity standpoint. It's harmful psychologically. Then there's also the category access harms. The category access harms are in society when we have certain things that are either reserved for women or girls because they're female, whether it's something like bathrooms or whether it's something like scholarships or sports or even like prisons, right? Because a man or a boy has identified as a woman or a girl, he then is granted access to those things. Nobody cares about the objections of the actual women and girls in there. All they care about is catering to the feelings of that man. And that has resulted in real harms for women and girls, such as in the prisons, when they've allowed men to come in there because they identify as women, those men have gone on to rape female prisoners, right? I think there's a case in California where the female prisoner was raped, and I think one of them even got pregnant. So those are real harms.
It's kind of hot.
That's kind of hot.
Sully, did you want to respond? Or I can respond. I do want to say
No.
Okay.
I think it was a bunch of stupid shit that had very little to do with the preferred pronoun usage. You can haggle about prisons and bathrooms and sports.
Sorry, I can't really hear you. It's kind of I don't know if you have loud background.
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise. Yeah, Sugar. Let me just say this, Sugar, real quick. So, let's just start here. If men, or sorry, let's do it this way. If males, okay, want to say that they are feminine, right? They say I'm feminine. Would you be okay with saying that? Historically,
that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
It's okay for men. Yeah, it's okay for men to be feminine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you would be willing to say, thank the Lord, Bob. You would be willing to say that they are in fact feminine, right? You wouldn't be lying.
Males or biological males?
You would say they're males, and you would say
but males or biological males, there's different definitions in this room.
No. When we say male,
you got to say biological males, Andrew.
No.
To be hyper specific.
No, I don't, because
yeah, you do. You're talking about biological males.
No, because when we say male,
are you talking about trannies?
Okay, bro, just chill.
Be careful. Andrew's very sensitive about trans issues.
I'm gonna have to move you down for a little bit.
I know you will, Andrew, because you have to
You know I love you, brother. Yeah, you know I love you.
He's a copacetic, so strong.
It's Brother Rich, and it's good to see you, my friend. But I'm going to have to...
Rich, you're stepping on his sensitive trans toes, Rich. Don't go too far.
I know. Sorry, I said it your flag.
Praise the Lord Jesus Christ.
They're going to script the continuity. Bob, welcome. Okay, so here's what I want to say, Sugar. So you're willing to call them feminine, okay? Now, you understand that words change usage over time. Gay used to broadly, when it was used to mean, happy or merry.
It still does.
Right? No. It has a secondary or third usage. It is not the primary usage. The primary usage now is homosexual.
Is that true of every? Is that true of every?
Okay, I'm gonna. P-Mars, hang tight, brother. So, Sugar, the point is that the usage words change over time.
Every word.
Now, okay, P-Mars, I'm gonna move you down if you do that again. Stop.
Well, isn't that?
So, I gotta move you down, brother. Sorry. All right. So. We'll just do a purge if we have to. Converse would be proud. But anyway, so the usage of words change over time. Now, if say a subset of the population around the world want to adopt these words, ready? She, her, him, he, woman, man, and they want to take those words, like when it's the woman, she, her, they want to take those words to just mean feminine. Typically feminine. That's all they want to say, right? If that's it, let's just stick with this simple concept here. Feminine. That's all they mean, right? If that they mean, it seems like that is acceptable as far as language, as how it goes. People just change the way the language is used, and people broadly adopt it, or they don't, and then there's kind of a rift there, whatever, right? So if they've changed it to where it just means, they have a collection of or characteristics that have been historically, they were typical of female, okay? But they're not saying that they're female. They're saying that they have these traits that historically have been associated with females. Okay, if that's all they're saying, which I take it to be that is all they're saying generally, the broad swath of them, I don't think that I'm affirming a lie. I think I'm saying what is true because they are in fact feminine. They may be really high pitched in their, or their voice may be feminine. The way they dress, they might have had various work done. All these different things, right? And you could say they are fitting this body of characteristics that typically have been associated with females. And so all I'm saying is it seems like you're not lying. It seems like you're just saying it's true. Even if you're opposed to it, you can still say that that's what they are, in the same way that if somebody was an alcoholic and they drank alcohol every day and they say, look, I'm an alcoholic, I am a drunk, I can say, you know what? This person is a drunk. I can say that, and I'm picking out something true. I'm saying something that is real. I'm not affirming it as in supporting it. I'm not saying, hey, it's good you're doing this, but I'm just calling it as it actually is. You're a drunk. In the same way, you're feminine, or you're a trans woman. You're a woman, right? And so it's because that's what they mean.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So Andrew, the linguistic change, it's not even the issue, because yes, while it's true that words do change over time, sometimes they can even acquire new meanings. That's not the problem. I think the problem is that we can test this claim, right? So if you have a group of trans people who are saying we're just attaching an additional new meaning to this, to these words, we're not trying to change the original meaning, right? We just are bringing a new additional meaning. The test of whether or not it's really just a new additional meaning, or whether or not they're going to change what the original meaning refers to, when they come up against people or things, right, who are describing the former. So for example, are you familiar with Korean spas? Like a Korean spa, I think it's called Jimjilbang. Are you familiar with how it works?
No.
Okay, so it's basically like a spa, but it's like a naked spa. So they divide it into men and women, right? So if you come there and you're a man, you have to go to the men's side because everybody's butt ass naked, right? So
I bet the homos love that.
Yes. So basically, people that set up the Korean spa and who built it and who make this separation, right? when they say he or she, when they say man, woman, whatever it is, right? They know and they have made it clear that they are strictly referring to people who are biologically male, biologically female, right? That is what they're referring to. So like for man, they're referring to adult human males. For woman, they're referring to adult human females. So these are people who are using the original usage. Now, if truly the trans people were not referring to the opposite sex, right? They were just using this additional new usage amongst themselves. When they go to places like Korean spas that rely on segregation based off the original meaning, they would not demand to be given access to the opposite sex. There have been at least 2 different cases caught on video of trans people coming to Korean spas. The most famous one was We Spa in California, but there was another spa, I can't remember the name. And they were demanding to be allowed to go to the side meant for the opposite sex, right? And that's the test of it. The test is that all over society, we're seeing these clashes between trans people who in casual conversation will say, oh, we're not trying to change the original meaning. But then in reality, the actions they're actually taking in reality is that they are going to people who have already made clear they're using the original meaning, and they're trying to force them to change what the original is referring to. And that's the test that they're lying about this.
Yeah. So I don't think that's quite correct. So let me just point this out, Sugar. So if a person that is, let's say they're a male, okay, but they're a homosexual, oftentimes they have female friends, right? And they get along quite well with them. And there's kind of some camaraderie there because there is a sense of friendship and kind of interconnectedness that they feel given the body of traits or the body of characteristics that they have. So it doesn't seem that what's going on there, and I don't think that it's a proper inference, and it's certainly not what they're claiming with their words, that these people who are pushing for that are doing that because they actually think that they're the opposite sex. That's not what's happening.
So why would they be wanting to go in there?
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you real quick. So I'm going to want to be around somebody who's more like me, right? Or somebody who's going to be at least tolerant or accepting of me and maybe wants to hang out with me or has similarities to me. So if it's the case, for example, that you have some, rough and tumble, very alpha, very aggressive male, and you have some Andy Dick, very passive, very kind of feminine males.
Wait, Andrew, but if the people agreed, the woman wouldn't. So I don't know if you've seen the We Spa video, right, when it happened, but what had happened was this. Yeah. When the trans woman insisted on going to the women's side, right?
Yep.
All the women who are in the women's side.
Can't listen to this girl anymore. I gotta.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah.
You too, bye.
No, you're transphobic, bitch.
I don't care, bye. So if you in the video, right, when the trans woman insisted on going to the women's side, all the women and girls who were inside the women's side ran out. They ran out. So this whole argument of, I want to be with people who are similar to me, it doesn't work if the people on that side.
What does this have to do with pronouns?
That doesn't mean, but
Andrew, the people on that side don't agree that you're similar to them.
It doesn't matter though. Well, first of all, hold on. Let me say this, Sugar. It would be interesting to look into this, and I haven't, right? But it'd be interesting to see how many females broadly around the world, what the percentage is that have bbeen surveyed on this, support the trans women identities, right?
Andrew,
it'd be interesting to see.
I do.
Females don't agree. So
I don't support them.
I don't think you would like this rule, Sugar Belly, if you start having trans men in your bathroom that have penises.
Wait, one second. So Andrew, so this is a common.
Do you want people in your bathroom that have penises?
Sorry, 1 second, Jane. So Andrew, a common split is like, X number of women agree with this, right? But there's 2 big problems to that statement. The first problem is individual women cannot consent for other women. So even if you have 1 woman, 2 women,
that's why
10
I was
women,
asking you specifically. Would you want someone in your bathroom that has
Jane, just give me a second, please. So even if you have
won't be a second. This is
Jane.
when it's finished.
Yeah, Jane.
Yeah, sorry.
unless you want me to do this when you were speaking, like, because I haven't been rude to anybody.
Sugar, but keep going, Sugar. Fuck these people. Keep going.
I can do this to you as well.
Keep going.
It's not the only way to be rude is to like call people
Jane,
names or do
Keep
things
going,
like
Sugar,
that.
but don't even beat us back about the bottom feeders. Keep going.
Jane, I will speak when you start speaking.
Jane, just
Jane, I promise you, when you start speaking,
You keep saying that, Andrew. Let her land.
Jane, I will interrupt you.
Oh yeah, I mean, she is.
I will interrupt you when
position,
you're
right?
speaking.
Her plane has no landing gear.
Well,
When you're speaking, I promise I will interrupt you.
The fuel
He's
is
just gonna crash it into the towers.
Listen, she's refueling midair. Just let her go. And no, it's fine. Go ahead, Sugar, and then we can kick it over to you, Jane. That's fine, or JJ. It's totally cool. Just let her go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so women cannot waive the rights of other women. Women cannot consent for other women, and women cannot waive consent for other women. This is a common thing that you see. You see a trans man enter a woman's bathroom and say, "Oh, my female friend lets me in." Okay, your friend consents in the bathroom, but all the other women don't consent. She cannot waive our consent for first thing. The second thing is, I think that a lot of people who are in like highly westernized countries, they are kind of delusional about how many women agree or don't agree with this thing. First of all, there are very few Western countries where majority of women even agree that trans women can be women, right? Let alone the non-Western countries where the rate of people who do not agree that men can be women is close to like 90-something%. So I think that there's a lot of delusion going on about like agreement and consensus here.
Okay, let me just quickly respond. So that's the reason I said that about the, it'd be interesting to know what percentage of women who have been surveyed on this are, let's say, females.
There are second plaintiffs at the towers.
Yeah, so let me just real quick. So it'd be interesting to know that. The reason I was just saying that is because the thing that you were putting forward is you're like, look, these women, right, ran out of the room as soon as this trans woman tried to, force their way in. Well, look, I'm just saying, what is that? What were you trying to show there? Because obviously you could take many examples where they would be welcomed, right? And so the point is, I was just trying to give a response to say it'd be interesting, is that there might be a majority, maybe it's a slim majority, right, of people that actually are, female that would say, you know what, actually I am a welcoming or affirming of somebody who's a trans woman that wants to be in our spaces, right? I don't know. I haven't looked at the data on that. I'm just saying. But that wasn't really to make any broader point other than that, just to kind of push back on your kind of, the concern point that you're making about how females are interacting there. But your original point was to try to say that this indicates or reveals that these trans women are actually lying because they want to be in these spaces. And I responded to that by saying, no, it can just be, and I think it is, that they just want to be around those that carry the similarities to their own personality, to their own character trait.
People who are similar to them are men, right? It's not
they don't agree.
Yeah, but even if they don't agree, like it has nothing to do with agreement.
Sugar baby, hang on. We said that Jane could go after Andrew.
Yeah. By all means, Jane, come in. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think that her.
Well,
rules
Jane,
about,
like, you see how nice this is interrupted by somebody.
Sugar, I thought you weren't going to interrupt.
I
She said the opposite. She said she wasn't going to do that. Now you know how it feels. And Andrew asked Sugar Billy a question, and she was answering. And then James is like, "Hey, is that someone else's?"
Now this is not.
Yeah, I don't care if you interrupt me.
Yeah, you clearly don't care, but I care too because you were rude.
Man, let that broad speak.
How does it feel now?
I don't care.
Oh, how does it feel now? How does it feel now? Stop being over dramatic, sugar bitch.
My issue is that if you're going to implement this rule where people have to use biological criteria to determine which bathroom they're in, I don't think that you're going to like that very much when people with penises start coming into your bathroom.
Don't they already go into her bathroom?
Penises that are going to come to the bathroom are
females who had bottom surgery and now have penises.
There are no females that have penises even after bottom surgery. All bottom surgery does is
big floppy penises.
All bottom surgery does is it takes tissue from either the thigh or the arm to try to fashion a penis, but that is not in fact a penis. A penis is
So
an
whatever
organ.
that is that you're so afraid of being raped by, that object, they will have that.
It's not possible.
But
It's not possible for trans men. It's not possible for trans men
It
to
is
rape
actually.
anybody.
If you look into it, they're fully functional.
They're not
They
fully
interact.
functional.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
They have pumps in them that
No,
make
they're
them
not.
erect.
They
All you
literally
have to do
need
is
to
look
have a
into that.
pump in there because it's not functional.
yeah, they're like a circus clown. They gotta pump it up like a balloon
Like,
thing.
the fact that it
And
needs
that's
a
what you're
pump in
afraid
there
of, right?
They're gonna make it like a balloon puppy before they have sex with you.
Right?
Nobody's afraid of you freak shows. Like
She's
nobody's
probably a virgin. Sugar Belly, you're probably a virgin. You're afraid of cock. Admit it.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
What?
Oh, not the whore.
Nobody's afraid of your freak show surgery. Like this is so delusional.
I mean,
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like you're awfully afraid if you won't
No,
even
but-
let them near you.
no, but
She's scared of cock
do you-
because
do you
she's a
agree-
virgin.
do you agree that whatever?
Yeah, let every woman be like Lush, who's like a slut.
Can you answer that? Yeah.
Hey guys,
I love cock. I love cock. I love it.
Yeah,
I
we
love
know you
cock.
do, you little whore. You little dirt.
Like imagine you can say, "Oh, I think you're afraid of their arm tissue surgery." Like who's scared of that?
So, Sugar Belly, do you agree that whatever biological structure that they have that resembles a penis, do you agree that that can become?
They use a pump. They have to put like some pump in there to like act because it doesn't function. It's not functional.
So is that a yes?
It's a pumped up like piece of arm tissue. I mean, sure, if that's what you want to call it.
So
Yeah.
whatever biological structure it is that they're calling a penis, you agree that
But it's
can
not a
become-
penis. It's not a penis.
So whatever biological structure that they call
Yeah, you
a
can make it
penis.
erect. Yeah, you can make it erect.
I don't understand why you're doing all this like evasive rhetoric.
Yes, you do.
I'm not even calling it. I'm not even calling it a penis.
I said you can make it erect. I've said that 3 times.
Okay. So
Okay, so when those people
so the point that she made, and now
enter
you
the
can continue,
bathroom,
Jane.
Are you going to feel comfortable with them in there with
Because
you?
they're women. Yeah, they're actually women. Trans men are women.
And they have the same structure.
Trans men belong in the
could
women's
cause you
bathroom
harm.
because no they don't. Trans men. So 2 things. Number one,
Are
trans
you
men belong.
denying the fact
Trans
that they
men.
could? I thought that was the whole point. Is that you didn't want people in the bathroom that could harm you.
Excuse me.
Is that correct?
No, that is not what I said. Andrew, did you hear me say that? Andrew, did you hear me say what Jane is saying?
I'm sorry. I did.
Are you afraid of getting raped
Wait,
by
no,
them?
hang on. Let
Is that
Jane,
the issue?
let Jane repeat what she just said. Andrew, did you hear me say what Jane said? Jane, repeat it.
Are you afraid of being harmed by people with that appendage in your bathroom?
I'm afraid of being harmed by actual men.
So even
God.
though
Why
these
does it
people
make a
have
difference who is
appendages that
harming you?
functions in
If
the
it's
same
just
way,
Exactly.
Because she's a misogynist, obviously.
If you agree with harm is okay, why does it matter if the person?
That's a good question, but what the data actually shows is that the people retain the male pattern of sex offending are trans women. So trans men are not a danger to women because they're actually women. They don't have the same rates of sex offending. The people who have the male pattern are trans women. In fact, the UK National Parliament had an inquiry about this because they had a gender rights law they were trying to pass. And what the findings show is that trans are overrepresented in sex offenders because they're male. So no, I'm not afraid of trans men with their fake penis in the bathroom because they're women. Trans men are women. They're not a danger.
It's literally the opposite. Trans people are at risk of being sexually assaulted higher risk than the general population.
Again, so the comparison.
Yeah, you just moved the goalpost, Soli. That's not the point that she made.
Sorry, I just want to point something out. Do you see like what
I said that they're at a greater risk of being
Wait, hang
sexually
on.
assaulted than the
Did you
general
see
population.
what Sully just said?
But looking at sexual assault between trans men and trans women sexually assaults more. That's why she's saying that.
Exactly.
I mean, you
Sully
just moved the goal.
people versus the general population, but that's not what
It
we're
doesn't
arguing.
matter.
That's not what she's arguing that, Soli. I don't know why you even brought that up.
Like
You would know where I brought it up.
lie.
You had like 2 functioning brain cells. They brought this weird.
Yeah, sure. I haven't insulted anybody here, but everyone here who supports trans has been insulting me, okay? So we're not arguing trans people versus the general population. What we're arguing about is who is a danger to women, right? Between trans women and trans men. And the answer for that, supported by all available data, is that trans women are dangerous to women because they're men. They're male.
is that?
So, I mean, do with that what you will. Like, trans men are women. They the women's bathroom. Trans women are men. They should be in the men's bathroom with their
help
fellow
that you
men.
keep. I understand you think that it doesn't help. Like, that's not what I asked. Repeating that over and over again.
No. I'm referring to what James said. I answered what you asked. You asked me if that could become erect. I said yes 3 times, right?
No. I just asked you what data is that.
I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear that question.
What data is that? When you say all available data, what is that data?
So this is the inquiry from the UK National Parliament that they had when they were debating their Gender Recognition Act. I'll see if I can find the PDF and send it to you.
Sure. I mean, I can just Google it.
I don't understand the points that we're saying that trans women are, sexual assault perpetrators at a higher rate than trans men are. Okay. Are they higher rate than cis men?
Well, the point is that cis men aren't being.
What the findings showed was that they retained the male pattern of offending. So that means that their rates of sexual offending are similar to those cis men, and sometimes they even surpass them in sex offending. And people are threatening me. James is in the chat saying, "Oh, give sugar belly to ISIS." I haven't threatened anybody here just because you oppose my views. You guys are clearly the violent party, because the second you hear women talking about this thing that you don't agree with, you start with the insults, with the threats, with being violent, with being rude. I'm sorry, but that's your business.
You're sorry, but that's your business.
What I think Sugar Belly's point is that societal norms are not being pushed that cis men should be in vulnerable spaces with women, with cis women, right? That's what Sugar Belly is saying, is that there's no societal norms are allowing this, but we are now allowing trans women into cis women spaces that could potentially have a harming effect on women. And so Sugar Belly is saying, hey, listen, I would rather be more comfortable with a trans man who has a fake penis from their arm and have this balloon thing that they have to pump up, rather than a trans woman who potentially has, again, the capabilities of what a man has right there. Again, they're still going to be stronger than a trans man because they still have the body structure, bone density, and usual strength of an average man, especially if they transition later on in life. So these things do matter to cis women, because again, these are their spaces, and with the idea that we're creating societal norms that should allow this is really interesting to me.
The safest is when nobody's in the bathroom. So I think you should all get the fuck out of my bathroom.
The other thing that's crazy is it's typically people who are getting somebody in a bathroom don't really give a fuck what the sign on the door says. It's kind of fucking ridiculous.
The other issue with requiring the biological criteria to determine which bathroom you're in, now, at least, if you are, quote unquote, look like a woman, that's a criteria that you can kind of use to determine if you're in the right bathroom. If she's going to refuse that and require that trans men are in the women's restroom and they look like men, now a regular cis man can just walk into a women's restroom. And what are you going to do? How are you going to determine the difference between a trans man and a cis man when they're in the bathroom and you're requiring the trans men to be there? I don't understand how.
Yeah, but that's already happening right now, Jane, on the opposite side. I can say the exact same point on the opposite side, which is that me as a cis man could say I identify as a woman and go into the women's restroom. And the societal norm is that we should accept that. Pretty much, if you're gross and you look like a man, don't go into a woman's restroom. Even if you're a trans man, really, we should ostracize these people away from our societies. These people are detrimental. These people have mental issues, and these people are harmful. Whether or not they're doing something harmful by sexually abusing. I'm so sorry that the middle of my sentence cut off the beginning of your sentence, but please let me finish. We should get far more sorry. We should get real quick. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry.
Continue to be sorry.
The middle of my sentence cut off the beginning of your sentence too, JJ.
Is that possible?
Real quick, which is that. Well, I'm so sorry, guys. I thought I was gonna finish, and then I've been interrupted now multiple times by multiple people. Can we allow
Not wrong.
just the yeah?
We do
Can
have
we-
to let him finish.
Andrew, do you want to let him
Yeah.
talk about how we can kick trans people out of our society? Is that what you want to have in this room?
Well, I think he needs to be on that.
Call them all gross.
That's just.
Why is that?
They are gross.
Why is that,
They are
Andrew?
gross and disgusting.
Eliminated.
Well,
You want this, then you're
Hold on.
I do want to know though. What about does he want?
Man, it's crazy
The
that
cis-
liberalism.
the
which
cis-
I cannot believe I have
Oh, do you
still
wanna-
not
do you
been able to finish my point. I mean,
think we already
JJ,
know
did
you.
I?
I think we
Well,
already know
you can
you.
say you already know, but then that means
I
that
think
you're
we already
assuming.
know.
And assumptions make an ass out of me and you. So let's not do that. Let's finish the issue. Let's finish.
Actually,
Let's finish.
my typically correct is
In the same way that he needs to be able to finish saying that, if he wants to say that he thinks it's gross and that the people are pushing this, it's gross, and then people want to say that he and people like him are bigots. Obviously, that's going on both sides. I think we do need to let him finish, and then other people can respond. Go ahead, Keegan.
Finish
Yeah,
saying that
thank
he
you.
wants them
Thank
eliminated
you. Thank
from
you.
society.
So,
He didn't
so,
say
so,
eliminate.
To kill
He
them
didn't
all.
say that.
I just
He didn't
want
say
him to
that.
be.
I never said that.
How do you want
He
to
didn't
eliminate?
say
Quicker, guys, I would have already had finished my point. I'm a very short-winded individual. I don't speak a lot.
Let him finish. He didn't say. Don't misrepresent what he said. He didn't say that. He said they're gross, and we should not encourage that or not.
No,
Yeah.
he said
We
remove
should
them from society.
Shun them
He
away
said
from
remove them
shun
from
them.
society. Remove them. That's what he said.
Okay, if I can finish now, and again, I am short-winded. I don't take these long intermission breaks like maybe Sugar Belly or maybe some others. But when you continue to interrupt me, but again, I cannot believe this. No one was totally
You
fine,
can just answer.
but we can't have. I don't need to answer you during my.
If your goal is to change his mind, Jane, this isn't gonna be useful, right? We're not gonna have a good dialogue if we can't just like chill and let him finish. Go
If
ahead.
you think that it's possible to
Yeah.
change his mind, then you're very naive.
Okay, well,
Then what are you doing? Then what are you doing?
What's the point?
I'm doing this for other people other than you.
Okay, well then, but you're actually making it very hard for anybody to get anything because you're both talking at the same time.
I just want to know how he wants to remove
Yeah, and he
them
wants to,
from
and
society.
he just wants to finish what he's saying.
Yeah, thank you.
That or no?
Yeah, maybe if you, maybe you could hear my submission. Maybe you could hear my submission, and you could have your answer. But again, these assumptions have been made. So what I wanted to say was that not just what Sugar Belly has been saying, which is that there's this idea that we should be affirming these individuals, but in my opinion, these people aren't detrimental to our society, whether or not they are acting in malicious behavior, whether or not they're committing crimes or not. This type of ideology, which is the ideology that again contradicts human nature, we should not encourage, and we should ostracize these individuals from society. Now, eliminating and killing them, not at all. But
How are you
opening up
going to
an
remove them then?
but oh my goodness, I cannot believe that the middle of my sentence started during the beginning of your sentence. I don't know what I'm doing here. The point is that Andrew, I appreciate Andrew, but I can't appreciate anyone else in this room because do you guys want echo chambers? Do you guys like echo chambers?
How is he not done
You're
yet?
not just trolling.
Because you interrupt. Because you guys interrupt the whole time. What do you mean? How have I not finished? I've been interrupted over and over again.
No.
Okay, I let you talk and you answer. So if you could please explain how you want to remove them
Sorry,
from
apparently
society
I
if
was
it's
muted.
not killing them.
Okay, look, he needs to be able to finish, and you say you let him talk, Jane, but I said to let him talk until he's done, and people are interrupting.
Oh, until he's done, so he could just talk for the next 10 minutes.
He's not going to do that.
I haven't even talked. I've talked for I talked for like a minute and then I get interrupted.
Yeah, so come on. I mean, and you can respond is same amount of time or more. Okay, Jane, it's fine. I'm sure you won't.
Well, that's
let him go.
Come on.
If you don't want to do that, JJ, it's fine. But the point is, we can't do this like hyper micromanaging of people. That I don't think he isn't.
He could have answered 10 times over.
He's
by
not
now.
trying to answer you. He's not trying
He
to
is
answer
answering
you.
me. He's not answering me.
Look.
That's what I'm saying. He
He's not-
could
that's
have
not
answered
his
me.
goal. That's not his goal.
Well, is his goal to go back and
feel the need
repeat
to give this
himself?
guy a platform? Why Why
All he's doing he's just going back and reiterating what he already said.
Because I'm trying to get back on my train. I keep getting derailed.
I mean, with all due respect, Sully, there are people that I think, I mean, I don't know, maybe you don't have respect for them, but they hold the same position that he does, okay? And people that I think you would consider friends of ours. So he doesn't like...
Not friends of mine, dude. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, not for the solely. Come on.
I don't want to turn it into a personal issue and start naming names, but I think that's a weird thing to say.
Right, you keep doing that. No, I'm not friends with anybody who thinks that. Sorry.
Okay, you're not friends with anybody who thinks that this is that corrosive.
That thinks trans people are disgusting because you're removed from society.
That it is something that is detrimental. It is not good for society, and it is something that should be opposed.
He said
Those people you're not friends with.
from society.
He literally was defining. He was trying to say, look, I said not do anything, nothing like that.
He said remove from society.
Yeah, he's going into explain that. No, and then he's going into explain that.
He wasn't going to explain that.
He didn't explain it at all.
Oh my gosh, you guys really think he's trying to do like
He literally said, I don't want to answer that. He said, I don't want to answer that.
It's eugenics. I actually want, you're right, Jane, I want a genocide. I want to murder and kill and pillage every, no, that's so dumb.
Yeah,
okay?
crazy.
What I actually am meaning, and I'll just go straight to Jane's answer. How do we...
Oh,
yeah, that'd be great. We should do 2 minutes for everyone.
Timer on 2 minutes.
Put the timer on.
Palatable for people, like I get it, and I totally get it. But if you interrupt them, because I want them to get it over with.
I get it. I totally get it.
You have literally like 1 minute, single, whatever. If you interrupt him, even if I adore you, Jane, I will move you down and bring you right back up when he's done, because I want him to get this minute over with. Finkel, you have 1 minute to make it plain. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. So the way that I would remove transgenders and any ideology of that matter that I would deem unfit for our society is number one is I would not make it any form of societal norms. I would discourage this behavior through education and through hopefully social trends. Number two is I would open up insane asylums again. I would require mental institutions for individuals who cannot change because of an actual mental disorder like gender dysphoria. Those are the ways that I would, as an individual, change our society for the better. Everyone, this is for the better.
All right, thanks, Jane. Did you want to respond to that?
No, I'm fine. He gave me my answer. I'm good. He wants to institutionalize them. Thank you.
Sorry, can you add me to the queue?
Yeah, let's see. Is Slike here? Slike's not here, is it? Okay, JJ, you want to weigh in, bro?
I have a couple questions. Is he still here?
Hit it, Chewy.
Yeah, never left.
Yeah, I hear ya. You said that they're disgusting because they identify as a certain gender. I get that straight.
No, they look disgusting.
Oh,
like a personal preference.
So what do you want to do about the cis women who embrace their hairy chests and big beautiful beards?
Well, that was just a personal comment that they look disgusting.
Yeah. You just want to get rid of disgusting people?
No, I didn't say the reason why I wanted to get rid of the trans.
I'm asking
because they're disgusting. No, don't want to get rid of disgusting people. I just think they're disgusting.
So it's because just because they want to use another pronoun that you don't agree with?
No, I believe that ideology breeds really destructive natures into individuals.
Right.
Suicide goes up, drug use goes up. These things are bad. We should not encourage it.
And just to be clear, JJ,
you want to get rid of them because you don't want them to commit suicide?
I want to get rid of them in our society. I don't want them to be dead. I want them to not encourage other individuals into their lifestyle.
I'm sure they'll be a lot happier once you institutionalize them.
Encourage? Yeah, you think they're encouraging people?
How that's supposed to work.
Yeah, so I'm Gen Z, and I know that maybe a lot of you are millennials and older than that. But as a Gen Zer, I know I know people because Gen Z, fun fact, identify well over almost 1/3 of us identify in the LGBTQ community. So I know a good amount of people, and we have been encouraged. I mean, the rates have only gone up in identification rather than has stayed stagnant. So this is why I would say we need to stop encouraging this behavior.
Forced? Like, what do you
Yeah,
think?
this-
Coercion?
No.
Like, what do you mean?
Coercion has definitely happened, I believe.
Did it make you want to go and get a sex change?
No, not me.
No, and perhaps the people that do want to get a sex change just want to get a sex change, because it was their choice.
Yeah, and those individuals have a mental disorder and should be treated as such.
Right. They weren't forced or coerced.
Well, some people were, some people weren't. But the people who weren't, they should be in a mental institution and should be treated
Wait a minute.
as that.
What do you think? What do you think? Oh, sorry,
People be put in a mental institution because by what you're saying, it's like people with like depression. I mean, like a lot of people have mental issues who are completely like gender, I don't know, normal compared to what you're saying. So what do you think should happen to all those people?
Are you saying other people with other mental disorders like schizophrenia and such should? Yes, I do also believe that as well.
No, they don't have to be institutionalized. You're ignorant.
That's correct. This guy is going to be like really disappointed when he finds out what the standard for intervention is for trans people.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't understand. I don't understand this point of saying yes, they should receive the appropriate psychiatric care. What do you think that is?
Well, I mean, the appropriate psychiatric care of 2026 is much different than what, hopefully, again, in my perfect ideal world, of what my psychiatric care would be for them.
Okay.
No, I understand, but you're like to talk about what your psychiatric care is. Are you a psychiatrist?
Dude, this guy is a fucking.
Yeah, Jane, you should actually ask this guy about Chad fishing.
No, but like Finko Keeganstein, like why should anyone care about what you have to say? Are you a psychiatrist?
Yeah, come on, listen to Keegan, he's a loser and a virgin.
He's a Gen Z.
Are you guys
to care?
Andrew, what's your
This is like silly. It's like, well, I think they should have the appropriate psychiatric care. Actually, wait, no, I don't think they should have that. They should have my psychiatric care.
Well, the appropriate psychiatric care is the reason why we're here. Again, the appropriate psychiatric care that you believe has affirmed their belief in delusion, and I say I don't agree with
which is bad news for you.
How that works at all? You don't even understand what happens in the therapy when you're working with somebody with gender dysphoria. You're wrong. You're just
He's extremely ignorant.
No, but what's funny about these conversations is like, we're going to appeal to the data. We're going to look at the data and the empirical science. What does that tell us? They commit, they're so and such, and they have such and such issues. Or it's like, okay, so what do we do with them? Don't look at the data. Look at my asshole. That's where you'll find the problem.
Look at my asshole.
sorry, I'd like to say something.
Sugar, do you mind put some input in just for a second?
Yeah. That's what I was asking. What the cue was. Like,
sure, if you want to go.
Hi, Sailor.
Hi. So, and I'm gonna close the door. I'm putting on makeup in the bathroom. I promise you, I'm not doing other activities. I think that I am not. I don't want to say I'm against people doing transgender surgery. The only reason why I don't want to say against it. I think it's a negative thing, is because of all the things that it takes to make the transition, like how much medication you have to take, how much issues can arise, like all the things. I just don't think that that's a very good and healthy thing, and I think that the only people that really benefit are the pharmaceutical companies from that. Nevertheless, even though I think that that's a really bad idea, I think that if we're living in a world that Kim Kardashian wants to put a big ass on and people want to get big ass titties, then anyone can do whatever they want. We have no right to say like, okay, this is permissible, these alterations are permissible, this alteration is not permissible, you're taboo, you need to be eliminated. Either you make that, you don't be a hypocrite, you make that all across the state board when it comes to cosmetic surgeries, or you mind your own business. That's
I completely agree. We should have authoritarianism.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna preface what I'm saying by saying that I don't agree with Finkel. I honestly I can't even believe like you said that. I don't think that trans people need to be gotten rid of from society. Like that's crazy. And I also don't think that they should be institutionalized. Like that's also like ridiculous. I think that the problem that we're having is that instead of people solving the problem that trans people are facing, they're doing the thing that society has done with like a lot of other problems, and that is dumping it on women, right? So one of the big issues that trans people are facing is that they face a lot of violence. I don't know who it was that tried to bring up the point. I think it was Sully, but he brought it up in the wrong context. The violence that trans people face is overwhelmingly and predominantly violence from males, right? Violence from men. When they say, oh, X number of trans people were killed in this particular year, virtually all of them were killed by men. Like when trans people face hostility, like they're facing violent hostility mostly from men, right? So there's a serious problem where everybody ignores this because they're too busy trying to, stuff trans women in women's spaces under the claim of trying to make them safe. Nobody's holding men accountable for their unwarranted violence against trans women or like even other trans people like trans men, right? Nobody's putting pressure on men to change their behavior and to stop allowing their homophobia make them go and harass a trans woman who's minding his business, peeing in the men's bathroom. They say, oh, the men's bathroom is not safe for trans women. Why is it not safe? The reason why it's not safe is because his fellow men inside the men's bathroom, instead of them minding their business and peeing, they're going to try and menace him because they don't like the fact that, his presentation is feminine. That is the real source of the problem, right? And you can't solve that problem by taking away women's rights, by making women more unsafe or inconveniencing women just because you want to keep, trans women safe. Because that's not fair. Right? So that's the first thing. And then to what Sela said about the surgeries, I also partially agree in the sense that everybody who's an adult should be able to do whatever surgery or whatever thing they want to do. It's not anybody's business really, like what surgery or thing that you want to do. However, the problem is that, these are billed as sex change surgeries, and the surgeries are completely ineffective for the purpose of changing sex, right? And it's not even the fact that people are doing the surgeries or they're presenting how they want to present that like anybody has a problem with. It's the consequence of that. So basically, somebody lies down on an operating table, that person is a man when they lie down, they wake up from that operating table and they say, as a consequence of me having done this surgery, right, to appear more feminine, now give me access to things that have been reserved for females, despite the fact that the surgery did not change my sex at all, because in human beings, it's completely impossible to change sex, right? So just because I now, I've done some cosmetic or surface level changes to look female, give me things that are meant for females. And that's where the problem is.
Like what?
2 minutes when you guys get the chance, if you don't mind.
Like what that is meant for females?
Sorry, what do you say?
Like what that is meant for females exactly?
Yeah, so for example, the identification of females, right? So basically call me a woman or allow me to participate in sports that are meant for females, allow me to be imprisoned in a prison that is meant for females, right? We all have real life cases of these instances happening. There's many documented cases. Some of these cases are even in court.
I'm actually a little shocked because heterosexual people, we don't have these conversations. If I go on a date with a man and I say, "Excuse me, honey, I'm going to the bathroom," he can make an ass out of himself and assume that I'm going to go to the women's bathroom. And if he gets up out of his chair and says, "Excuse me, darling, I'm going to head to the bathroom, the restroom," I'm going to make an ass out of myself and assume he's going to go into the men's room. I'm just going to make an ass out of myself. So what's been created here is just a propagated gay agenda because people want to be seen and people want to be heard and people want to be felt. You didn't like being a man, so you want to try being a woman. And most of the time when these men go try to be a woman, they don't get treated any better than when they were a man. And really and truly, shouldn't we be questioning why are men running away from being men? Let's talk about that. Why are YT men? Hello. Why are YT men away from being a man? Did you not like what Elenity brought them? Because I could have sworn patriarchy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There we go.
So you think?
Okay,
You think
all
this
right.
is
You
like,
gonna shut up long enough so I can talk?
No.
No.
Actually.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right, Bobby.
This
boy.
isn't
Thank
like
you very
a
much.
yapping
Thank you very
space.
much, Bobby boy. I'm sorry. Are you a crossover? Which one are you? Just let me know. Are you?
Let's just move you down to the audience. So this isn't a space where you just get to endlessly yap. I get that you're in like conditioned from other rooms and Clubhouse where for some inexplicable reason the norm has become like everyone just gets to land their fucking plane. I'm gonna land the plane.
Just get to the point. Just get to the point, Bob.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't care about landing the plane. I don't care about like pointless rhetorical appeals to I need to say all the things that I had queued up in my brain.
We get it, Bob. Get to the point.
The point was landed. The point was landed, so just FYI. But we get the point. But that appeal is just brain dead because nobody researching any of this, like psychiatrists and scientists who are researching this, nobody thinks that the reason people are trans is because like I don't like being this, and that like maybe they were unsuccessful as men, and now they're to be women. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that's the cause of like transgenders and gender dysphoria. So those points are like entirely hollow and pointless.
Well, yeah. So I'd like to what you just said, Bob. It is due to trauma.
You don't know that.
You know my past. You know the stuff that
I have no idea who you are.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in fact due to trauma, and it's 100% is because people running away from them from their past selves.
Okay, that's more useless than what the other person said.
That's.
Why do you think when the people who are trained in evaluating these things, why do you think none of them come to that conclusion? Or I guess some of them do, but the vast majority of them don't. They have like different explanation, different stories to tell. No, they don't. No, they don't. Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. Yeah, show me the evidence that says like a majority of psychiatrists in this particular field and researchers in this field, the story that they tell is like, oh yeah, all trans people, the reason that they're trans is because of trauma. You're never gonna find that, by the way.
I just feel like if somebody goes to the length of...
I just want to finish because trans people literally say the shit out their mouth. They say it out their mouth, bro. No. I was
okay. Well, good. I'm glad
they say it out their mouth. They say it's trauma out their mouth, whether y'all like it or not.
There's like I don't know what's wrong with you. I assume some trans people do. They think that. I'm just saying that's not what the medical science is attributing gender dysphoria to causally.
I just feel like
I don't care about your anecdotes. Sorry, you guys.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I was just making sure because the app's been glitching, so I wasn't sure.
No worries.
I feel like if you do like your due diligence to remove your organ, like you can come in the bathroom with me. Like if you don't have a dong anymore, okay, I should use better words. But if you don't have a penis anymore, come on.
Dong works.
Yeah, like you went all the way to that extent. Come right on it. But the one thing that I'm not sure about Sugar Belly that I need some time to think about and research is what you said about like sports and stuff. I don't know about that one yet. I have to know more. It might be a good point that you're making. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the sports one, ironically, has been the most visible aspect of the whole like trans, versus no against trans battle. I think that for years, like in the past several years, maybe past 10 years or so, the whole argument on battle was kind of happening under the radar because, it was mostly about bathrooms. It was about like other things. It wasn't really until it started to lead to sporting conflicts that suddenly the general public really became like super aware of the whole thing. But the popular examples are, for example, the Leah Thomas one. Leah Thomas is a swimmer for, I think, Penn. Somebody correct me. Is it Penn State? Penn University? Penn State. And he was a male swimmer before, he wasn't doing very well as a male swimmer. He, claimed that he identifies as a woman, switched to the women's team, and suddenly started coming first, right? Suddenly started winning things. And the female swimmers complained about this, and they were told off by the school. They were branded as transphobic and so on and so forth. There's been other examples. I think there were 2 boys who were running. They switched to the female, track running thing, and then they came first and second. The girls who came third and fourth, who should have been second, they lost out on academic scholarships at university because, the boys basically came first and second. The other famous case is, I think it was the past Olympics, not this most recent Olympics. That was the Olympics before that Olympics. There was a weightlifter from, I think, New Zealand. I can't remember his name, but if you remember his name, please write it. But basically, he qualified for the Olympics and that caused the female weightlifter from New Zealand who would have gotten that spot to not get, she couldn't get into the Olympics because he took her spot, right? So there's many famous sports cases that you can look up.
So I'll look into that. Do y'all want me to let I guess is she back on stage or no? I don't see her.
That doctor person does not need to be on a platform.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, but Bob said earlier, real quick, because I don't want to get off the topic of what Bob said, which is that Bob said that there's no form of data that prove anything that we are saying. But Dr. Deborah So, who wrote a book called The End of Gender, and she in the book she states multiple clinical trials, clinical studies, and the study that she done herself. She's a neuroscientist, sex researcher. She talked about the rapid onset of gender dysphoria in teenage girls, and she saw, and this is what many of the studies showed, that they were showing girls with no form of child dysphoria suddenly identifying as trans, and then their friend group alongside them would usually get around 30% of them would all of a sudden identify as trans with them. And so they found that social influence on children, because of, again, their lack of maturity in their mind, can have a really large effect on this. So there is forms of coercion and social influence that I think plays a part in these new identifications of what trans.
I mean, what I said was, you're not going to be able to show that there's some broad consensus or significant number of researchers believes this. And I specifically made an exception to say, I'm sure there are individuals who claim otherwise.
Well, it's not a claim, though. It's been multiple studies.
No, it is a claim. That book is enormously controversial in the academic literature, and the vast majority of researchers do not agree with their conclusions or nor the data that's been presented.
So
if it even is data to that.
Homosexuality. The book is controversial because it. Hang on a second, please.
That the vast majority of researchers do not agree. Where do you get that information from?
Oh, because the standard of care in almost every Western country is gender-affirming care.
Yeah,
they can cite you.
And that has been thrown out now as a result of its bad consequences.
I just want to ask a question, please. I just want to ask a question, please. So you're going by the current standard of care, right? But the current standard of care is, okay, they've introduced that, but that doesn't tell you whether or not the vast majority of researchers agree or disagree. Because,
what do you think that standard of care is based on?
No. So what I'm saying
politics
is that
and ideology.
Yeah. Wait 1 second. So what I'm saying is that if the vast majority of researchers actually agreed, there wouldn't be this constant back and forth push-pull happening in the medical community and happening in the scientific community and happening in the political sphere.
Those are mostly about minors. There's very, very little push and pull about adults or the efficacy of gender-affirming care in general.
Oh no! So
minors are one of the major problems.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Are you aware that back in July, the Federal Trade Commission, right? They basically had a whole a conference about the ideological capture of gender-affirming care, and they were talking about the surgeries for adults, where they had doctors coming to give testimony and so on and so forth, because they felt that these gender-affirming surgeries
the propaganda piece put out by the Trump administration.
No, this is Trade Commission though. their issue, the reason why they have
which body does the Federal Trade Commission belong to?
Finish the sentence, then you can tell me what's wrong with it, okay?
No, which body does that Federal Trade Commission belong to?
The sentence about what they were doing, and then you can tell me if there's a problem.
Well,
yeah.
First of all, what's wrong with it is that you're bringing it up.
Oh my God! Excuse me.
That you're pointing it out. That you're appealing to it. That's the.
Like what is going on?
Well, I'm telling you what the problem is. The problem is that you're talking about it.
Are you going to like it?
Do you hear what I'm saying?
If I interrupt you when you're speaking,
you don't need to finish. You don't need to finish for the problem to be pointed out.
Are you going to be happy if I interrupt you when you're speaking?
Yeah. You're making it like AJ.
Sorry, as I was saying, right? The issue that the Federal Trade Commission was having at this conference that they had, where they had doctors and scientists and everything and whatever, was that they felt that these gender-affirming surgeries, right, were being, portrayed to the adults who were doing them as, oh, this is going to change your sex, right? And they're not effective. Like, it doesn't actually change your sex. And it was like customer misrepresentation. I'll find the link to it and I'll post it in the chat.
No, I'm already aware of this. Like, you don't need to. Like, that was a propaganda piece by the Trump administration to kind of, in their broader efforts to like demonize and stigmatize trans people.
One could as easily suggest that what you're saying is propaganda. You know, propaganda because
let's just get rid of this piece of trash garbage.
Why are we just kicking people out, Andrew? As a moderator,
because normal is a piece of garbage.
You're next.
No, look.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and just guess.
They don't agree with.
Bob's a terrible mom. I'll be honest. Bob, you're a
few things.
Yeah, get rid of Nicole. He just called Bob.
Don't slur.
These people are so easily triggered. It's first of all that FTC commission, that FTC get together was just a direct instruction by the Trump administration to put together something. They just like cherry picked a few experts, gave testimonies. Like one of the testimonies was, well, nobody's born with gender dysphoria. And like, how the fuck do you know that? And they just made claims. None of that was substantiated in the data. We have meta-analyses of like some 70, 100 studies that all point in the same direction. Very, very, very few studies point in the other direction. And that research is what informs intervention and medical guidelines in Western nations. And that's where I get my idea of where the consensus is from.
Bob, you heard what?
How do they have thousands of studies?
No. You heard what was being. You know what was being appealed to.
Oh, really
Bob.
easy.
You know what was being appealed to there, though, is that there was some sort of false advertising that they call it a sex change, but you don't really change your sex, and that.
Right.
That this is some kind of I don't know.
I don't know what point that's supposed to be.
Law breaking or fraud or something. That's just ridiculous. I'm not even sure if that's what that particular conference or study, whatever, said, but that's what she was just appealing to, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, even if you think that's true in the U.S. and there are linguistic maneuvers you can do in the English language to make people believe it. Like we see the same thing. Like Swedish doesn't have a word for gender. Like there's just one word and it's sex. There's no other gender word that you can use to kind of make these moves. And that's the case for a lot of these languages. And we see just the same thing in their medical communities and in their psychiatric intervention guidelines. So I don't have any reason to think that this particular objection has any merit.
I'm sorry, but like this conversation.
Kind of like where people, it's impossible for them to change their chromosome. So if they were born with X,
they don't think that they're changing their chromosomes.
Or change their chromosome. Is that right?
This is a smart one.
They know that.
Yeah, but I'm so like, what is it seems that what is happening here is that you are dismissing everything that you don't agree with out of hand. So, I don't.
No. I'm going to interrupt you because you're just being dishonest. I didn't dismiss it out of hand. I give several reasons for why I dismissed it. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the reasons that you're giving, right, don't actually address the main issue that was raised.
Okay, so we agree it wasn't out of hand, right? Listen, I gave reasons. You simply disagree that they're good reasons.
You're not addressing the actual issue that was raised.
No, but we disagree that I didn't dismiss them out of hand. You just disagree that my reasons are good reasons.
Fine. Even if you want to say you didn't dismiss them out of hand, you're still not.
Okay, I just wanted to just address that blatant dishonesty.
You've addressed it, so can we actually talk about the issue that was
raised? Which issue are you talking about? There were several issues that were raised. Which one are you talking about, Sugar Belly?
Sorry, JJ.
Please be brief.
Time.
JJ, please don't.
JJ, the next time you start speaking, I'll start speaking over you because I don't know you and I haven't been rude to you, but you've done this to me several times. The next time you come off your mic, I will speak over you.
I just asked you a question, and then you started speaking over me. So
Bob, don't ask a question because that makes it three-way, which is more complicated. Bob, go on. Sugar Belly, go ahead.
Hey,
it's not a three-way. I want to know, what did he not address? She said you didn't address the issue.
Bob can do that.
But he's not doing it.
You interrupted last time.
No, I didn't interrupt.
Yeah. Please leave it alone, please. Let Sugar Belly and Bob go at it.
Yes.
Are we going to wait?
So as I was saying, right, the issue is that people are having these surgeries, right? So somebody is a man or a boy, whatever you want to call them, and the person has the surgery, and what their belief is, based off everything that they've conversed with the doctor and so on and so forth, the reason why they're going ahead with it is because they want to be a woman, right? So they're doing the surgery so they can become a woman. But the surgery is not capable of making them a woman.
Yeah, but this is just an equivocation on women. They don't think it makes them a biological woman.
So that is the claim,
so
right?
You're just confused.
No, I'm not confused because we can.
I just told you why.
Excuse me, Bob. So I've been quite polite to you. I haven't insulted anybody on this stage just because I disagree with them.
I didn't insult you either.
You just tried to say, you're like, you're confused. Like, can you not make
that's not an insult.
Don't make personal comments about me. Address what I'm saying, okay?
That is addressing what you're saying.
Can I finish?
What do you mean?
You're being antagonistic for no reason.
It's not for no reason.
Please mute your mic because I'm speaking. It's my thank you. So as I was saying, right? Even when you claim that they don't think that they're a woman, we can see based off their actions that they think that they're a woman, or they think that at least people should think that they're a woman. Why? Because after they do this,
I heard you make this point with the bathrooms. No, but I heard you make this point. I heard you make this point about the bathrooms.
You're interrupting me.
But I'm giving you the reason why I'm interrupting
me, and you're being antagonistic to me because you don't agree with what I'm saying.
I'm not being antagonistic.
You are being antagonistic.
I'm just saying. I heard you make this point earlier.
You could think that in your mind without telling me that. You're being antagonistic.
No, I'm telling you so you don't repeat yourself needlessly.
You are antagonizing me because you don't like what I'm saying.
No. I'm interrupting you because I already heard you make this point.
You are antagonizing me. You're interrupting me for no reason.
No, I just stated the reason. I didn't remove her. I just stated, I don't understand why these people are so insane. No, I get it, W. I don't understand why these people are so insane. First of all, I didn't interrupt you for no reason. I gave you the reason. This is the same confusion that you found yourself in, just a couple of minutes ago when you said I dismissed your concerns out of hand, which I didn't, and we agreed that I did. I didn't interrupt you for no reason. I interrupted you to tell you, hey, you made this point earlier, need to repeat it. I caught it the first time you said it, and you're like, why are you, and you're being antagonistic? I'm like, no, just saying, yeah, I got that point. Do you want me to address it? Do you want maybe make another point? But you don't need to repeat the same point that everyone has already heard. You wanted to say that, yeah, they think that they're women, and the reason they think that they're women is because they demand access to spaces that belong to biological women. And so you brought up the example with the Korean spa, the Wii spa. I heard it, I get it. But that doesn't mean that they think they're biological women. What they think is, I should have access to the same space as biological women in some cases. That doesn't mean that they think they're biological women. So come back up and address that, because like you were obviously
to their body.
You were obviously equivocating, just like everyone who is in room temperature. I can't say.
Also, Rico wanted to speak like half an hour ago.
Who?
Rico.
Rico.
Whatever. Rico.
Oh yeah,
Rico.
I'm sure he has a lot of good things to say.
No, he's been.
Excuse me, Andrew.
Andrew, when you saying he's been much better.
This room, if you're more going to antagonize, I disagree.
I didn't antagonize you, and I just explained that. I didn't drop you. You insane person. You were dropped.
Me.
You insane person. Yes, now I am insulting you. You insane person. I told you when you were dropped. You insane person. I told you when you were dropped. I specifically said when you were dropped. I didn't drop you. Like, you have like an insane hearing comprehension problem. If this is like the fourth time, it's something that you should have been able to
just
easily internalize. Given that you, let me just remove this return. Given that you understand and you seem to be like not completely, bereft of cognitive faculties.
Wait a little bit longer, Bob.
I'm so incredulous. I'm actually just like,
Bob, that you're drawing some of the fire. They're calling you a racist in the chat. That really comes.
No, I don't care about that. That's just like obviously empty rhetorical appeal. There's no reason to think of it.
I'm saying, Bob, it makes me happy.
Oh,
I'm saying, because it's
obviously that's weird.
Right, it is definitely
right.
I think we should stop responding to her though.
I rebel in the detraction from myself. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, Bob, you're a racist.
The reason I call this person insane is because I specifically told her that I did not drop them. And they come up and the first thing they say is like, you're antagonistic. You dropped me, and I'm like, at that point, like, what is the use of talking to this person?
Hey, Bob, man. If they don't consider themselves biological women, then why do they want biological women access?
Because they feel more comfortable in those spaces.
That's what I said earlier too. Just to be clear, are we doing a forgiveness program, Bob?
And the male spaces that they usually would have, what they would have go into are dangerous for them.
So they have.
Wait. So you're telling me, Bob, as a male, that if I see another male in the bathroom house with me and they got chest and a penis, I'm gonna do something to them?
Yeah, what's up? No, what?
Are you?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying trans people run a much higher risk of getting assaulted by men in the male spaces that they're in than women have.
I'm asking you.
That women have of getting assaulted. That women have of getting assaulted.
I'm asking you as a male because I'm an individual, right? And I am a male.
Right.
Do you really think I'm about to go out my way to beat up a gentleman that has teeth in the dick?
None of us know who you are.
No. So do you understand when I say they're at higher risk, that doesn't mean you as an individual are going to do anything. It's like averaged out to populations. I'm saying there's a higher risk. By that, I don't mean any individual man is going to do anything. You understand how that works?
So what are they afraid of?
A higher risk.
Like if I say like motorcycle riders are at higher risk of being in car accidents caused by others, it would be really silly of you to say like, well, do you think that I would go and like smash my car into a motorcycle? That's the level you're at.
So are you saying that men are at risk at getting harmed by other men?
I'm saying that trans women run a much higher risk of assault and sexual assault and regular assault.
Trans women have trans bathrooms then.
No, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to that. I'm just telling you the reason they don't want to.
Let's go
Legalists.
Women
can you check?
Bathrooms.
Well, I was asked the question of why they don't want to go into the male spaces, and I'm just giving you the answer.
Well, the only reason I'm asking these questions, Bob, is because men has dressed in drag for centuries and always went into the bathroom that coincide with their genitalia.
No, they haven't. Like before, like 2016, 15, the 2010s, that decade. Before that decade, when the trans thing became this
I said
rhetorical tool that. No, I understand what you said. I heard what you said. I'm saying before the 2010s, when the trans issue became this culture war ammo that conservatives like to swing with. Trans women and trans men went into the respective bathrooms of their assigned sex, and nobody fucking assigned like the opposite of their preferred gender, and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody fucking cared.
What class?
This was happening. This was happening for many decades, and nobody gave a shit.
What's the standard to be trans? Because there's a difference between trans and drag.
I didn't talk about drag. You talked about
I'm asking you what's the standard of trans, because if you're telling me this is a trans
people, the drag queens don't identify as women.
If you're telling me that
they don't,
if you're telling me that the person is trans, Bob, and they did not get a sex change, then to me they're in drag.
What?
Well, you go with your bad self.
I don't know what you're saying.
If you tell me a person is a TS person, and they did not get a sex change, Bob, then they are in drag.
No.
Saying they lack the commitment, so they shouldn't get.
I'm not saying that. A drag is a person who identifies as a man and otherwise performs as a man, except for when they don't, which is like they like to dress up and perform as women. Sometimes.
Yeah, even just like wearing.
That's not what a trans woman is.
Yeah, even just wearing nail polish or something pink, it doesn't make them trans or drag.
People do drag as like a hobby.
Yeah.
Okay, again, my question to you is, what classifies you as trans?
And real quick, Bob, are we doing a forgiveness program on any of the offenders?
Well, which ones?
Either Sugar or Finkel.
Need one of your clowns up there, Andrew?
Sugar.
Finkel literally used the F slur against Bob.
No, I know, and we rebuked it.
I highly recommend that we don't give Sugar another chance. I've seen her in other rooms.
Sugar.
She's the worst.
Well, Sugar is like, she has an air of superiority around her, and she likes to pretend that she's this like erudite, intellectual scholar who doesn't insult people. But she also has a severe verbal comprehension problem.
And she also plays the victim card at every turn. She also rambles on about nonsense. She also will never provide you any empirical evidence for the claim she makes. Like, she's.
I don't mind her being on the stage.
Yeah, I think she left. Just seeing Regal's still been waiting. See, Regal's, honestly, Bob, seriously. Yeah, I don't know what you were going to say about my side. Regal.
Well, what I was gonna say was, Regal I've noticed he's stopped doing insulting, the slurring,
crazy, just meltdowns every other time.
Right. But unfortunately, that didn't improve the quality of the speech, notably.
Well, I mean,
okay.
Well, let's take.
I'm fine with him speaking.
No. I know, but let's take the win where we get him, because I think there's more to be said. But I'm just saying.
Sure.
Just I got it. I want you guys to count the hits when I get it. And
yeah, sure. But Andrew, you caught the dishonesty that Sugar Belly was trying to do with the equivocation.
Bro. Either it's dishonesty or it's just massive ignorance. And
right.
Just and
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And it is and you're calling out her characteristics spot on, and I agree. For sure.
What about my calling out of her characteristics? How did you find that?
I agree. That's also true. She doesn't really seem to cite any empirics or give anything to back up what she says. She makes her claims. She did give that. She said she had that PDF or whatever earlier. I guess she did have something. But and then she drones on for days, and then she usually misses the point. So you're just like, oh my gosh, yeah. But that's okay.
Go ahead, Regal.
She's a woman, but don't hold it against her. Okay. Regal, go ahead, my brother.
Come on, Andrew.
I know that was messed up. Don't say stuff like that.
I kind of just want to rewind a little bit and kind of like describe or at least define or find out what kind of a function a transgender person serves versus like a biological adult woman. And the question becomes to me is what responsibilities and duties do they have inherent to society? And I think that'll break the symmetry right there, because women tend to replenish people groups in society. Men get to vote, women get to vote. They stay home and make the bullets and take care of the babies while we're at war. Right, we get drafted. That's a duty inherent to men.
Sorry, what?
Something all men have to
What
do.
are you making right now?
He want to know what's their point in society, but keep going, Reed.
Like nobody, I agree that
the point
trans
remains
women
is that
generally can't reproduce.
right, exactly.
Like not the way women can, not the way women can, at least.
Right.
I can't make bullets, so how do I qualify as a woman according to Regal?
Hey, Jay, any 5-year-old kid can make
be a little fair. He's been
shown
very patient. He's been very patient, and you know.
No.
Doesn't give a medal for that.
You know what? I'll just. I'm not even gonna finish that up. Just you know what? If you guys want to just play around with it and just chop it up at that, go for it. I'll just drop the mic right there.
To be very charitable to you, I don't understand what point you're trying to make that is relevant to the convo, because all you seem to be saying is
to society.
All you seem to be saying is trans women can't serve the biological function of a biological.
They have no inherent duties and responsibilities as a female, so they don't function as one.
Right,
so they
but
can't even adopt a child that you give up?
So I
would anybody even acknowledge this?
If I'm being charitable, what he's saying, I don't think he's. First of all, he's not trolling. But secondly, if he waited a while to say this, I think it would be at least fair to try to. Whether you disagree.
He's not trolling by saying that women's inherent duty is to build bullets at home.
He's saying what? No, he said what inherent duties, and then he said that women do this and men do this, and that historically there has been a lot of that. Now, whether you agree with those gender roles or not, whatever. But my point. But let me just say this real quick to what you're saying, Regal. There's going to be a question if people even have duties, right? Obviously. There are people who take that view that you do have there's obligation, generally speaking, depending on what sex you're born into or whatever the case may be.
Let's take it this way. Is it a woman's inherent duty and responsibility to present as a woman? Is it required of them to wear makeup?
A lot of people who disagree with that.
Is it required of them to have this conversation and discussion about who's using the bathroom because they don't care really about this much? What? I think comfort, security.
I have no idea what this person's saying.
Having a
what's this guy saying?
Don't care.
Family, these are things that they care about. So it's this whole thing based on cosmetic surgery or mental states and attitudes that influence the behavior, removing gender dysphoria from the DSM-5, compelling people to speak a certain way about you. I just don't think it's all going in a very good direction. And I think it's the only mental disorder that there was where treating the status of it, you encourage the delusion. But you don't do that for schizophrenia.
Now we're back to
delusion. You don't do that for bipolar. You don't.
No, you
Sorry,
do.
what's the delusion?
I mean, believing that I can magically be a woman. That some cosmetic surgery.
What do you mean by woman?
Some cosmetic surgery will magically do that for me.
Yeah, and what do you mean by woman?
What do I mean by woman?
Yeah.
An adult human female. I can get
but they don't think
that are interested in functioning in a family unit.
But they don't think
they don't think that they're adult human females. So
women
what is it usually
put their family ahead of themselves. That's why they engage with their family heavily in their support.
We're talking about delusion, though.
They don't think that they're adult females. So what's the delusion again?
Why do you keep saying they don't think they're adult females when they want adult female things? What is up with you, bro?
No, they want to be included. They want to be participating in the spaces that biological women have.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean that they think.
I would just like my question answered anyway.
That doesn't mean that they think they're biological women.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you really didn't answer the question first, and it's I just want you to answer the question.
Well, there's no point in talking to this guy, Bob, because he's not listening.
For an example, what is her duties and responsibilities inherent?
Yeah, but right now I'm interested in knowing what the delusion is, and it seems like you're confused about.
Well, this is the topic that we're having a discussion on. I'd just like to hear your answer. Start from there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Brand, you accuse them of the reason we don't do this is because that's in the delusion.
No, that's not what
you seem. That is what you said, but it seems like you're confused about what the delusion is.
He was not confused. He named
evolutionary biology will tell you. So what delusion people made? What tricks they look for?
Simply, why did you mention delusion?
Right. So what's the delusion? The delusion is that I can magically be something I'm not.
Schizophrenia, bro.
Right, but they don't think they're adult human females. So what is the delusion again?
That's
the delusion is that they have a mental disorder.
Right, where you claim that they think they're adult human females, but they don't think they're adult human females.
No, I didn't.
So
that's what you said. I didn't. That's what you said. I didn't say that.
That is what you said. Because you said they think they're women, and I asked you, what do you mean by women? And you said adult human female. So I just replaced the word woman.
You straw man me.
I just said
I'm going to end it right here.
So Andrew, he actually hasn't improved at all. So.
Yeah, he should just end it.
This is the exact same, like, obviously bad shit.
How are you sitting here
when he was calling Jay for it?
And then deeply
not obfuscating for the question.
On something else. Yeah, you are.
I'm saying part of your question.
What responsibility duties do trans women have inherently? That other one.
I don't believe in any inherent responsibility. So the question is malformed. So the question is malformed to begin with. But during your speech, you claimed that they were delusional.
Just claiming it is.
You claimed that they're delusional, and what you meant by that is that they think they're women, and what you meant by women was adult human female. I told you they don't think they're adult human female, so they can't be. So they can't be. So they can't be delusional about. They can't be delusional about something. They can't be delusional. They can't be delusional about something that they don't affirm.
That's not what I said.
That is what you said.
No, that's not what I said. No.
We agree that you can't be delusional about something you don't affirm.
Listen,
right?
that's not
agree on that.
Then can you see me agree? Can you see me in my position?
Do we agree? Do we agree?
Okay, you don't remember what I was talking about. Okay.
Do we agree that you can't be delusional about something you don't affirm? Do we agree on that?
That's not even the conversation that we're having.
The fact that they put
then why did you mention delusion?
Bob, is this guy also a troll, or is he?
Yeah. See, he's like a delusion.
Women have, right? They have in common with transsexuals.
I don't know. It's like this is so painfully bad faith that I'm like having trouble taking it seriously.
You think? So I'll just say this. I should play some of the old clips if we can find him, but he used to just like melt down and yell at people and call them slurs and all these different things.
Yeah, he doesn't do that anymore, but look, none of the bad faith is gone.
Well, so I mean, look, I think there's just some, I don't think.
Yeah, he called him delusional, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I think he's wrong.
And then I asked him what the delusion was, and he said that they were like they think they're women when they're not. And I asked him what a woman was.
ESM5 if it was not for like political.
And I asked him what a woman was, and he said adult human female. And then I told him that yeah. So we agree on all that.
Well, so what happened on that step, Regal, when he said that they don't think they're females? What did you say to that, bro?
Who doesn't think that they're not females?
No, they don't.
No, we're not doing this.
No. Be specific here. Let's be getting specifically. The question was that he asked me once.
No, we're not.
Because he doesn't remember what he was saying to me.
Yes, he does.
So say it. You have a problem repeating it?
I mean, I recounted it like 3 times already, but.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, the trans women.
You said that they're delusional, and he asked you what you meant by delusional, and you said think they're women. And then he asked you for your definition of woman, and you said adult human female, and so he used that definition to say they don't think that they are adult human females, so they are not delusional then.
Okay.
Hey,
stop right here. Stop. I just listened to that, right?
If they don't
I said, and that's what
why would they answer females?
That was his response to this specifically. They all share a mental instability in common. They all have delusions of grandeur. Let's just say, whether it be depression, whether it be bipolar,
this is too much. Sorry.
That's not true.
No. This is like disgusting bad faith, and you're not even trying to.
Wait, you just removed him?
Sorry, Andrew. It's like
that's really weird, Andrew, that Bob would do.
It's really weird that I removed the obvious troll.
I think that is weird.
I think that is weird.
There's a lot of people here that aren't going to like my passivity, and there's a lot of people that aren't going to like Bob's, his rigor.
But the only people who are like it are the idiots. I
think you're an idiot.
Who dislike it. That's cool, dude. I don't know.
Listen. So
I enjoy the confusion, Bob.
We agree, Andrew.
We agree that he was being disgustingly dishonest.
Right?
Who cares?
I actually do that last little part there, so I apologize.
He said, well, he pretended like he's like, yeah, so they all have the same delusion in common. They all have, let's say, delusions of grandeur. Like he was trying to pretend like that was complete. It was an obvious trolling.
Okay. Well, let's do our Bob. Put on your mask.
Bob, are you scared, bro?
Done it. Hold on, real quick, guys. Hold on. Bob, hold on, real quick. Hold on.
Norm, the only thing Norm can do is say the F slur. Norm is considered vermin even amongst his Zionist friends.
Glad to remove that guy. Anybody who advocates for Norm's also getting removed.
Boy,
I'm lost, bro.
Wow, what a weird vibe you've cultivated in here, Andrew. What a very un-Andrew vibe.
I know. I got you, bro. I got you. Hold on, real quick. So,
who is this?
Bob, hold on, real quick. Bob and try to do your best. Hold on, Alex, just a second, brother. Try to do your best to put on your charitable hat as best as you can. Not saying you haven't. With my trash bag, my friend trash bag, and possibly Alex. I have a feeling my friend trash bag. Okay. Yes, I have a feeling if we lose these two, the voices are gonna be very lopsided.
No, that's fine. The only reason I remove anyone is one, the people I remove just said the F slur. So they were removed. And the only other person I've removed is Regal, and he was just obviously trolling.
Yeah, and El Normal.
I don't know. Unfortunately, but he dropped the F slur. That's why he was removed.
El Normal dropped the F slur. I didn't.
Yeah, that's why I removed him.
I've never heard him use that. Interesting. Okay.
What? I've heard him use it multiple times. But
no, that wasn't like casting shade on you, saying like that.
No, that's right.
I've never heard him say that. So but okay, cool, fair enough. But no, my trash bag. I'm not vouching. I'm not saying like he's high IQ, good argumentation, whatever. But I do. I try to find the nugget. The best.
It's not a very strong endorsement.
No, I'm not trying to give an endorsement because my endorsements aren't really taken, with too much respect anyway, right?
You're saying I'm not high IQ, so you're saying I'm a low IQ?
No, I didn't actually make an assessment. But I will say this, my friend. Allow myself to introduce myself. What's your issue, or do you have an issue with affirming people's preferred pronouns? If you do have an issue, what is the issue?
Well, I was instinctively transphobic back in 2014. That was a long time ago. But then I read this article in the Nature magazine that said that the brains of transgender people align with their gender identity rather than the gender that they were assigned at birth. And so I read this study that said that trans women, their brains are more like biological assigned female at birth, and their brains are not like a man's brain. They might have the body of a man. They might have been assigned male at birth, but their brain scans align with the female brains. And so ever since I read that article on Nature magazine, I was no longer transphobic. And I thought, transgender is real, and I need to respect people's pronouns. And of course, I would always respect people's pronouns. Excuse me. Up until the time that I was, I don't want to say the R word because I don't know if that's like a terms of service violation, but I was taken advantage of, sexually molested by a transgender person. And that was a very disturbing experience for me, and it significantly affected the way that I view transgender people in general. And I certainly would not want to say anything offensive, and I don't want to say anything that could be deemed as trolling. But I do think that is a form of mental delusion. And so in that way, I think that all transgender people share the same delusion. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that all transgender people have delusions of grandeur or depression or whatever the other guy was saying. I wouldn't go that.
Excuse me. Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Do y'all believe in transracials? Do y'all believe in transracial?
No, I don't think we typically. I think most people broadly don't accept that.
Okay, now when you look at it right, it's basically the same thing. Somebody having an identity crisis. Same thing. Because I've seen white guys, they act just like they black. Literally, they
what does that mean?
They look like them and they think like them and they just.
He's saying that being transgender is an identity crisis similar to being.
No, I heard that part. I'm just not even sure what transracial is.
Like
It's
racial
when you a certain race and you want to be another race.
Let me explain it, right?
That's not transgenders.
What's a race?
About several years ago, there was a white woman. She was in the NAACP. Y'all might know about.
Yeah, we all know who she is.
Yeah, right. And everybody got down on her. I'm talking about the white people, the black people. I mean, everybody got down on her about that, right? Me,
a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm like, man, what was y'all talking about, man? I'm like, what? I mean, shit, man, she trying to help us, man. She identifying with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but at the same time, right? I look at this. On one hand, you have transracials. I just seen them in real life. I seen black guys act like they white. I seen white guys act like they black. I mean, I just seen it in real life. And then, on the other hand, you have transgender. They saying this is okay.
Yeah, but does blackness or whiteness have to be a certain thing? Like,
yeah, Alex, it calls into question, what does it mean to be black or to be white or to be anything?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, I'm talking on the transgender. Now, I can get real deep.
I understand.
You know, I don't want nobody to cut. I mean, I don't want nobody to kick me off because they don't want to hear what I'm saying. Right. I'm not going to disrespect none of y'all on here. I'm speaking truth. Now, I say this because, one, this whole planet is my people. Original. The Aboriginal people, that the first people that ever was on this planet. When Yahweh thought of people, he thought of my people. No other nationality existed. All nationalities come from us. That's a fact. Look it up. It's all coming out, everything.
Well, it's debated.
It is all coming out.
But I think it was addressing people darkening their skin or lightening their skin and changing up their culture or their way of being because they want to live in another culture.
No, I ain't saying that, right? I'm saying as far as the mind, because all this in the mind. That's where it's at. That's why transgender the way they is. Well, you know, I mean, they got so many names, different ones. So any of them, you know what I'm saying? It starts in the brain. And just like a transracial, it starts in the brain. It was in that white woman brain like that, man. She actually said it, like, I identify with black people. You know what I'm saying? She looked black to me. She looked like a light-skinned sister. That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Until her parents came out and told her.
Yeah, I look like an even lighter-skinned one.
But the whole thing is we have to protect the kids, man. That's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I can't control what somebody else do in their bedroom. You know, I can't control that. You know, I can care less what the person do in their bedroom, you know. But out here in society, when I'm sitting here, got my 7-year-old son, and I see a whole dude with the whole female kit. I mean, purse, everything, skirt, everything. You messing the kids, sir. That's why the kids feminine now. Because I will tell you, I used to be on the app. I used to be on the social media app, and this homosexual,
hateful.
No, I'm serious though. This homosexual told me, he was like, "Man, we ain't worried about you." I said, "What you mean?"
Are you like addressing anybody, or did anybody ask you a question, or like anything, or you just rambling?
I'm enjoying listening to him personally.
I'm saying something.
I didn't ask you.
No, I'm saying something. But I'm just telling you what this homosexual told me. He said he wasn't worried about me or nobody like me. I said,
why are you saying this?
He said that because you're going to get old and die. We worried about the youth.
Alex, can I?
All right, Alex.
Hold on.
Thank you for your contribution.
Please,
I thought that was it.
Please let me finish. All right. They know the youth. Their mind is like a sponge. When the child come out the womb, they know nothing. They are empty. The little boy don't know who he is.
When you say finish, do you mean ramble for 5 more minutes? Is that what you meant when you said finish?
Hey, Southern, quit being an asshole. Let the man speak. Damn, that's some perspective. Quit being an asshole.
Why do we need to let this man speak?
Okay, let's
Why?
just give him 30 more seconds, okay? 30 more
Why are
seconds.
you
Go
being
ahead,
so
Alex.
racist?
Can you people potentially, like just
what do you mean by you people?
Hey, don't let me hear y'all. Don't let me hear y'all.
Let me tell you what this is, y'all.
Sully is a racist.
Let me tell you what this is.
Alex, you got 30 seconds. Let him wind up his 30 seconds, or we're gonna give him another 30 seconds. So go ahead, Alex. You got 30 seconds.
You guys are this is like
a child he molded, a gangster molded his son to be a straight gangster, just like him. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why when you got all these kids running around here feminine, you dig. And I don't like that shit.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to raise my son to be a man. I want grandbabies. I want to meet my granddaughter. Man, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? And that's against God and everything, man. So people, man, all this fleshly, what they want to do, man, that's your own fleshly, what you want to do, man. But it's consequences, man, in the end, man. Real talk. Everybody got an answer for something. And that one there, Yahweh don't like that, man.